So Hare Krishna, my friends. This is my friend Radhika Devi Dasi. She and her husband Madhava Das are coming from Mauritius, but they have been living in Switzerland for about 25 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. So Radhika, can you tell us when did you join the movement?
In 1981, that's when I joined a Hare Krishna temple in Mauritius. And my husband's parents actually joined in 1978. So he's been practicing devotee, Hare Krishna devotee for longer.
Wow, great. And when did you come to Switzerland? What did you do when you came to Switzerland? What seva service you were doing?
So before in Mauritius, we were doing a lot of pujari stuff, like worshipping the deities, cooking for the deities. And when we came to Switzerland, I kept on doing that for a while. But my husband, he got an instruction from Nam Prabhu, who was the director of the 24-hour Kirtan during the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s up until he left. And Nam Prabhu had told him that wherever you go, chant Hare Krishna. And chant Hare Krishna even if you have to chant to the four walls. So in 2009, let's say destiny took a turn, and we started to travel full time and to different countries of the world, different continents, and do Nam Seva. Actually, we are servants of the holy name.
Because in the Shastra it is said that in this Kali Yuga, this is the only way for deliverance?
Yes, it is said, there are many ways to self-realize, but in this Kali Yuga, the fastest, easiest way is by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which seems very easy, but actually if we have to do it correctly, it's not really easy, because we have to learn to hear what we are speaking, and it's very, very hard, very hard. So it's a process. It doesn't come overnight. To actually hear the mantra, let it go in, and effect change. It could take a few lifetimes.
So did you also travel during COVID time, because it was a heavy lockdown around the world, and were you able to continue with your seva?
That's an interesting question, because when the heavy lockdown started, we were in Australia and we caught one of these go-home flights. We came back to Switzerland, and then my husband Madhava, he started to do online kirtan every day for an hour, and he sort of promised that he made a vow that he would do this kirtan up until he starts to travel again. And so we were back in Switzerland in April, and in June already we started to travel to countries in Europe, because the good news is in Europe people are very realistic. So many wars took place over so many centuries, so catastrophes like that are expected, and so they didn't lock down so severely, so we could travel to the Czech Republic, we went to Poland, we went to Italy, my husband went to Belgium. We traveled a few places up until we could go to India, Vrindavan in October, where we went and we stayed for 9 months.
Wow. So when you were traveling in Europe during this COVID time, were the people very reciprocating? Were they
receptive,
open, receptive to the holy name? Were they open, with open mind?
Actually, it is what was needed, very needed, because you don't have any shelter, because you don't understand what's going on. People were quite helpless, and you hear one thing, you hear another thing, you hear it's a plot, you hear it's real, you hear so many things. It was designed to reduce population. I mean, you don't know who to listen to, where to take shelter. So one of the things that we noticed that wherever we went, so we would gather on farms, a bit away from, where there would be control. And hundreds of devotees came, Hare Krishna devotees came. And the kirtans we had were the most focused,
Wow.
helpless, surrendered kirtan of all times. Because that's what Krishna says, surrender unto me, and don't worry, I will take whatever sins you have, I will take care of them. But the whole point is to surrender. And unless we are helpless, we don't really surrender. What we do, we surrender according to conditions, how much I want. But to helpless is to really surrender. We have to be in a helpless condition where we can't control.
Nice. So, during these times of traveling, did some miracle happen, so to say? Can you share some experience, some depth? Or
You know, sometimes we get asked this question. You've been chanting for so many years. Is this any miracle? With the years, I can say the greatest miracle is the ability to change yourself. Most of us, even if we come to spiritual practice, we come with our own baggage and our nature. To rise above the modes, like Krishna says to Arjuna, and to give up a nature that is not conducive to spiritual practices is almost impossible. Because it's like telling salt, whose nature is salty, to be sugar.
yes,
It's not possible. But consciously we can try to do that. And Krishna can cover what we lack, which he promises. You know, I will protect what you have, I will cover what you lack, I will carry what you lack. That's what he says. And the miracle is still in process. I'm trying to change myself to be that spiritual person who can do spiritual practices with a fully focused mind on Krishna without anything else distracting me from him.
yes.
And that's
I love that answer. Yeah. Even
that
Srila
would be a miracle.
Prabhupada,
Yeah.
even Srila Prabhupada was asked, like, can you do miracles?
Yes, I remember that conversation that I've read about. Some man came and asked him, can you do any miracles? And he pointed to all these Western devotees, these Western Hare Krishnas, who had given up their gods, the way they ate, the way they dressed, the way they prayed, the way they talked, their society, their friends, everybody. That is called surrender. They gave all this up. I was born in the Hindu culture in Mauritius. Actually, I didn't give anything up. I already heard about Krishna. My mother was wearing saris. You know, it's all within the culture. What did I really give up? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. The false ego, probably. I should try to give up ahankar. But these Western devotees, they really gave up. They surrendered unto Prabhupada. That's the reason they had so much Shakti. They went, they opened temples everywhere. They're still surviving those temples. That was a miracle that Prabhupada pointed to.
Right. All these Western devotees.
Yeah, that's my
are
miracle.
wonderful. And for the end, would you like to give some final message to me and to us, to all of us?
You know, in this
To the
Kali
world.
Yuga, the only way is to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There are other mantras, there are other processes, you're right. We know that. But for winter climate, we need heavy jackets, especially we know here in Switzerland, very heavy ones when it snows. So for each time period, there is a particular way to save oneself, a particular spiritual practice in this Kali Yuga. Kale doshe nide rajan ashtihi eko mahan guna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha paramvaje. Although this Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, O King, but there is one redeeming quality. That quality is kirtan of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra together, which can lead us to the supreme destination.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.